We are live once again from Studio B here in San Francisco in the beautiful Marina District here at the Beach Street Yacht Club. My co-host Julia Vatican is here as usual representing the St. Francis Yacht Club, and I'm, while a member of St. Francis, I claim to host the Balboa Yacht Club down in Newport Beach, California, where I spend a lot of time, happily so. Welcome, everybody. We have a great show ahead. We have a lot of people on already. Steve Gruber, Chris Exley, Peter Taylor's over in Copenhagen, where Peter and Sandy hooked up earlier with, guess who, Julia?
Gordon Smith.
Gordon Smith. John Emmett's on, saying hi to you, Julia, and all the FOSI.
Yep.
And Mark Collins saying it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood of Boston. Hello to all of us. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We got a big show, a lot of video from the weekend's events. Cool stuff. Speaking of cool, Julia.
Yes.
You recognize that cityscape?
I do indeed.
And speaking of cool, did you realize, so you do because we talk about it every day, the Bay Area is seeing its mildest summer heat-wise in decades. San Francisco has only seen we always talk about the weather on here at the start of the show. San Francisco has only seen the thermometer hit 70 degrees. What is that, 20, 21 degrees Celsius? One time since May, and even places inland like Livermore, which is typically in the hundreds this time of year, have been spared extreme heat so far. Right? It's chilly.
Right. It is cold.
That's why I wore my green jacket today because, I'm hoping it'll spring. It didn't even rain the last couple days.
It was very heavy mist.
Well, it was a rain last night. I mean, we would call it a rain in Michigan, not a Scotch mist. So let's carry on here with one other note. Street on Sunday, a new Australian cafe and coffee roaster, Bluestone Lane. Julie, that's on Steiner Street across from, what's that restaurant Mario Schumann likes?
Izzy's,
the steakhouse right around the corner from the Apple store, and it's a new Australian, I've never heard of an Australian cafe and coffee roaster right here in the Marina District.
Oh, good.
We've got to go check it out.
Absolutely.
Huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
In honor of all of our Aussie friends, somebody's opened up an Australian restaurant here. What's on the show today? Number 851. Happy Tuesday and happy Cherry Pie Appreciation Day, Julia.
Cat, how long has it been since I've had a cherry pie?
Well, you're not going to have one today either. Ooh. We're going to preview a super show that we're having on Friday. It's going to be Road to the 58th Governor's Cup again, like we did last Friday, but we're going to feature for the first time fully 5 skippers, indeed 7 sailors. We've got a couple crew coming on as well. We've never done that. Coaching Corner today, John Emmett gives us a quick walk around last weekend at the SailGP venue with audio. In Long Beach, the Olympic Classes Regatta, the second phase has wrapped up on Sunday. We'll give you those results. SailGP, Emirates SailGP in Portsmouth, with extensive review. We've curated for you the best videos from last weekend's action in Portsmouth, which, of course, was another win for Pete Burling. And the Kiwis, Julia, not your beloved Spanish team.
I know.
And not my pick of the Brits, but it was close.
Yes, it was.
The Brits were close. And looked for a while like they did very well the first 2 days, but then they didn't win that final winner-take-all race. Admiral's Cup, that has begun. Ran from Sweden, Ron, I guess it's pronounced, won the Saturday, Sunday, the overnight race, the RORC's Channel race. We've got some nice video on that. Day racing, by the way, begins today in the Admiral's Cup. Mm-hmm. AC-38 continuing crickets behind the scenes. It's a different story. I have the latest one here. And then we have a fabulous, Julia, a fabulous AAAA from the Tasar Worlds at Lake Garda, from Alistair, who interviews the winner.
Ooh.
Who's we've never had on the show, but we've featured this guy who won, Nick Craig from the UK. Mm-hmm. We featured him in one of our cover slides, I noticed, so we'll have that nice interview and more. I put together a little feature on the Tasar Worlds. Terrific event there at Garda.
I love Garda, too.
I know you do. I know. Finally, the last leg, the Ocean Race Europe, coming next month. Video review, the course around Europe that ends in Montenegro.
Oh, does it?
It does, indeed.
Oh,
okay,
lovely.
That's our show number 851 today. And we will have our usual day in history. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot and our fantastic FOSI weighing in. Speaking of whom, let's check who else. Ed Worley's checked in. Steve Groover's in Connecticut. Alan Long is in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. There's a big air show up there, I think, this time of year. That's probably where he is. ASDIP. What does J. Frederick Boomer Bland? ASDIP, ASDIP. Christopher Gillingham, normally in Leamington in the UK. Clayton Embley, greetings from the wheelhouse. Julie, you want some of his bourbon cream in your coffee, or you want to pass?
It's cold.
What's cold? Here.
Yeah.
Will that warm you up?
Yeah, but later.
Okay. Later is maybe later in the show when we get to Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Okay.
Yarvahe's in Portsmouth. He's still there. Cape Town is where we find Ted Ryman as usual. Rick Banner texted me, hello from Connecticut. I can second Steve G's weather report. They must have fine weather in the Northeast. Speaking of whom, there is Clara Harrington drying her hair. She's got her hair dryer on. Speak loudly, she said. Esteemed Vice Commodore of the New York Yacht Club. John Emmett's also covering, I didn't put it in the show, but the WASP Games, the international games, are in full flow. I believe the biggest ever single-class foiling event. He'll tell us more about that, no doubt, for Friday's show. Gordon Smith, speaking of whom, is checking in from wet and windy Denmark. Chris Fury in Mornington, just down from Melbourne, down in Australia, of course. Greg Phillips up on the Gold Coast of Oz, and Alistair Murray still at Lake Garda. And we will have that AAAA from him in the C block, actually, of today's show. But SailGP Portsmouth is our feature. The Kiwis pip the Brits at the Brits home event in Portsmouth. And they had a fabulous crowd, some 20,000 people in the bleachers. We'll talk about that. What? You were going to say?
No, I was just going to say the crowd was great.
Yeah, it was good stuff. But come Friday, we are going to have a super duper Governor's Cup of coverage, a preview, and it's the road to the Governor's Cup like we've never done before, featuring fully 7 sailors, 5 skippers, 7 sailors here on the show. I want to start by thanking Sienna Sienna Nichols, and here's the rest of her crew who will be racing. They will be racing together in the Gov Cup. They were second in the Rose Cup, the U.S. National Youth Match Racing Championship. She came on the show on Friday. Wasn't she terrific, Julia?
Yes, absolutely.
She is mature and has poise beyond her 16 years.
Yes.
Fabulous stuff.
And has had for the last couple of years.
Well, that's the scary thing. She's been like that since she was 14. I think she's 14 going on 16 going on 26 or maybe even 36. Thanks, Sienna. Thank you for coming on. We had a great, pretty extended chat with her. She lost to Dylan C., who's also in the Gov Cup. And in the Rose Cup, she lost to him, but it was a terrific final match between the two of them and pretty good breeze. And we hope we have breeze like that for the Governor's Cup, in fact.
Any notice if you will have any breeze or not?
Well, I haven't looked at the weather, and of course, the finals aren't until the weekend after this coming.
That's a little far away.
It's a little far away, but they've had, like we have, the whole west coast of this country's had unusually chilly, exactly, a cool, so far, summer, lack thereof, and it's been fairly cool and breezy down there as well, at least it was for the Rose Cup. Thanks, Sienna Nichols. And speaking of people on Friday, a Michigander named Michael Kirkman, whom I've only met digitally so far, but Michael lives in Michigan. He lives in Novi, Michigan, which is a western suburb of Detroit. He's been racing in at least the Chicago Mac, because he's up at Mackinac right now at the party, the post-race party.
Good.
I couldn't get him on today because he said, I'm going to be at the post-race party. I can't possibly come on the show and miss the party. But he did the Chicago. He may have done Bayview Mac, too. He's a hell of a good sailor. He won the Collegiate National Match Racing Championship, sailing for Boston College for BC. I think it was BC. And he will be on the show live at the top of the show on Friday. We'll have him on at 1300 or shortly thereafter. Then, live to tape, Justin Callahan, Josh Hyde, and Morgan Pinckney will be on. They are racing at the Youth Match Racing Worlds in Gdynia, or will be later this week. I think they are now, in fact. And I'll have the 3 of them live to tape Friday morning. They didn't want to come on live because that would be too late over there, and they're in the midst of, it's a serious event. So they will come on after I record them Friday morning, hopefully with Andy Rose, and they will put them on in between 1 and 2 o'clock on our Friday show. And then at 2 o'clock, live from Sydney is last year's winner. And not only the skipper, but for the first time, we have crew on Road to the Governor's Cup. Aussie's Jack Freeman there on the left, Hamish Voss, and Cole Tapper himself, the skipper, will all be on live from Sydney at the 2 o'clock hour at 1400 our time, which lets them sleep in for an hour. I said, what about 1300, guys, right at the top of the show? Give us an hour to sleep in to 0700.
Yes.
So that's what we did, and they're coming on. Speaking of Gov Cup, though, on other skippers, we've got Daniel Kemp coming. You see him there on the right during last year's Gov Cup. There's Sienna on the left. Hotly contested matches, all. So Justin, Ethan Fong from New Zealand also coming up. Josh, we mentioned. Daniel, we mentioned. Michael Kirkman. And then Adam Leddy from Ireland. Victor Melchior. Not sure how to pronounce that, Gordon. Tell me if I can do that better. Danish name, Melchior. Sienna, we mentioned. Morgan Pinkney. Dylan C. from Newport Harbor Yacht Club across the harbor from Balboa Yacht Club. And, of course, Cole Tapper. And then Theo Vesterland, the younger brother of Marius Vesterland, the celebrated Swede. And in fact, Marius is also coming to the event.
Is he?
He is coming to the event.
Are you going to rope him in?
Well, Andy says we're going to. That's really Andy's call, but he'll be coaching his brother, and we don't want to interrupt the coaching action between those, between him and his younger brother. But if his younger brother, Theo, is half as good a character, half as much fun as Marius, we'll have a ball there at Gov Cup with them. 58th Governor's Cup TV schedule. It's a day later this year because of the conflict with that event in Gdynia. That was the fault, not of ours, but of World Sailing. Tuesday is the opening day, the opening ceremony, the dinner, the meet the teams at 2000. And then Thursday through Sunday, our usual pre-race morning shows at 0900. Live racing coverage on Saturday and Sunday at 11:30 Pacific. And then finally, we'll do the press conferences both Saturday night and Sunday night, 1900 and 1700 respectively. And on Sunday night, right after that press conference, we'll roll into the prize giving. So spread the word for the friends and family of these kids, because as you know, Julia, it means a lot to them. We've had so many nice notes over the years from friends and family of the Gov Cup kids. That's why we do it. That's why we love to do it. And we shall do so again.
Yes.
That event is being brought to you this year by the Call of the Sea Foundation and the Crowell family, who are supporting Gov Cup once again. We'll be on Facebook and on YouTube, the YouTube channel for Balboa Yacht Club, on the BYC Gov Cup Facebook page, and on Sailing Illustrated's probably both our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. With Chris Bretschker, our executive producer, and I will sort that out early next week, and we'll let you all know. But for sure on several of our channels here, two of our channels, I believe. Lots of links here from people. Phil Yeomans is saying it's a bit of a rain in wintry Sydney. Don Lunabos is across the bridge in Sonoma. And what else here? Cherry pie, they're wondering. What about cherry pie? What is today? Cherry Pie Day, Julia?
Yeah.
Not quite. It's Cherry Pie Appreciation Day? Not really. Bobby Steele, who's our weather guru for Gov Cup, saying hi from Newport Beach, and he helps us out throughout that regatta with precise and accurate weather forecasts every morning for our morning shows. Jody Shields checking in, saying g'day, 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 Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Presumably, up in Wanji, not Wanji. And Rob, there's back and forth between Rob Fry, who is Leo Takahashi's dad. Leo got some very good ink. I mean, the team won. He's with the Kiwis, of course. Yeah. And with Pete Burling and co. And we're going to have a little bit of an interview with Leo.
Oh, good.
Courtesy of Lisa here in one of the segments here on the on SailGP. So yes, Alan Long, thank you. Sienna was a great interview. And Clayton Embley is saying, I think young athletes seem to be more aware these days. Yes, indeed. They're certainly more media friendly, more mediagenic, more media comfortable, whatever the word is. And Baton Rouge is saying, he's in the Southeast where it's pretty tough this time of year. It's pretty warm and humid in Charleston and south, all the way around to Nolens.
Nolens.
And Gordon says that pronunciation of the Danish entry's name, the skipper's name, is Melchior. Melchior. Okay, Melchior from memory. Melchior. Thanks, Gordon, for that. Mm-hmm. Julie is looking smart in her Michigan colors, Alan Long is saying.
Oh, yes. I'm not.
Blue and gold?
Yes.
That's also Cal, and you went to Stanford. You would not be wearing Cal colors, so it must be Michigan colors, Julia.
Right.
There's so much going on. John Emmett says it's hard to know what to report. And if he'd gone to Stanford, he would have said it is hard to know on which to report or on what to report. And he would have not ended that sentence on a preposition, even in our chat. But Clayton Embley, regardless, agrees 100%. This will be the Gov Cup next week, Tuesday the 29th through Sunday the 3rd, a day later. And we'll have, including my show on, too. We'll do a Tuesday show, our regular Sailing Illustrated Tuesday show, but no show on Friday because I'll be tied up.
At sea.
Up to. Speaking of which, here's our schedule. Our regular shows this week, today, Tuesday the 22nd, and again on Friday with a good Gov Cup preview and road to the Governor's Cup. Next Tuesday, a special Gov Cup preview down at Balboa Yacht Club. I'll be live from BYC with the chair for life, yes. Christine Gribben. We always get her on the show. Mm-hmm. And then the Gov Cup Meet the Teams opening ceremony that night, Tuesday night, hosted by Andy Rose at 2000 PDT, which is in the middle of the night in Europe, but a decent time down under because it's during your day, Wednesday down under. Friday the 1st, we'll do the morning show, not a regular show. I'll do the morning show Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 0900 Pacific, 1600 UTC, and then live racing Saturday, Sunday. And finally, I'm sorry to repeat, but it helps to promo the Gov Cup for the friends and family. Regular shows resume on Tuesday, the 5th of August. Julia, you were about to say something.
I was going to say that if they forget, that's hard to remember sometimes, but it'll be on the.
Yes. Pedro Foiling Sailor says John Emmett speaks proper English like. I do okay for a dyslexic. I didn't know John was dyslexic. Dyslexic. He does very well indeed. Julia?
Yes, sir.
What are we celebrating today?
Evidently, cherry pies.
No.
Oh, pie.
Yes. And it's not Pie Appreciation Day. It's Pie Approximation Day. Today is 7/22 or 22/7, depending upon whether you're European or American.
All right.
And that is Pi Approximation Day. Remember, 3/14 is Pi Day because pi is 3.14, of course.
Yes.
March 14th. But I'd never heard of this, but there is such a thing, celebrated around the world by math teachers and other nerds. Pi Approximation Day originated as a lighter spin on Pi Day, utilizing the fraction 22/7, which closely approximates that mathematical constant. The fraction gives an easy way to think about pi without diving into endless decimals, while Pi Day on March 14th gets more attention. This July date offers its own charm. It grew from a simple idea to celebrate the clever way people have estimated pi for centuries. The idea gained ground in the early 2000s, mainly in schools and science departments. Pi has been known for nearly 4,000 years in some form or another. Ancient Babylonians, they were sailors, used it approximately to 3.125. I still know it out to 30 places, Julia. I won't do it.
Oh,
the nerd
shame
I am.
on you.
To calculate the dimensions of circles, it was around 250 BC that pi was first calculated by one of the greatest ancient mathematicians, Archimedes of Syracuse. He found that pi fell somewhere between 3 1/7 and 3 1071. Pi is occasionally referred to as I've never heard it called the Archimedes constant. Have you?
No, but it sounds good.
Huh?
No, but it sounds good.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
Later in the mid-400s, another brilliant mathematician, Zhu Chongzhi, computed pi again with lengthy calculations. Since Archimedes' books were lost and not in China at that time, Zhu calculated pi himself in a novel way. I don't know how he did it, but between Zhu and Archimedes, these two scientists were the first to know pi in any true sense. What have you learned here today on Sailing Illustrated.
I know the
Your mic's still off, Julia. Push your mic button down. You put your cough switch. There you go. Go ahead.
the exploratorium director here
In San Francisco.
really invented Pi Day.
He did?
Yep,
She did?
he did.
Okay. Well, that was Pi Day. Who did this Pi approximation day?
I don't know.
That's more important, I think, because you got to know pi approximately. Ted Ryman says he eats pie. Jody Shields says the only pie that matters is a meat pie. Spoken like a true Aussie.
Well, meat pies are good.
We are also celebrating, Julia, I've got it up here on the screen, patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated. We're celebrating all of our patrons, and especially those of you who are patrons, all of our FOSI, I should say, who are patrons. Thank you very much for your continuing and substantial support, which gives us a studio, which gives us a lot of equipment. I like showing these two shots when we do this.
Yeah.
Clay Embley says he knew an average Greek philosopher. We called him mediocrities. This pie segment, Ed Worley says, is half-baked. Okay. Those are pretty good.
Yes, they are.
Huh?
Yes.
They were pretty good. Let's, speaking of FOSI, let's move to a FOSI focus, shall we, Julia?
Yes.
We got FOSI in the we're focusing on the Oh, come on. Give me that finger wave again. We're focusing on the FOSI in today's FOSI focus. Cool people. Friends of Sailing Illustrated. And speaking of whom, he said in the comments, he is in, that is Peter Taylor and Sandy, his wife, they are in Denmark. I'm not sure why, but of course, while they're there, they would, of course, link up with Gordon Smith there in the upper left corner. And Gordon took them to a famous restaurant in Copenhagen. And the name of the place, I won't try to pronounce it, Restaurant Schoenemann
Yeah.
in Copenhagen. The best Danish lunch restaurant, Gordon Smith. This is a note from Gordon. And he took Peter and Sandy, and in the lower right is Juliet Rasmussen, who with husband Thomas is the owner of this restaurant. And he said that they previously ran the KDY, that's the Royal Danish Yacht Club restaurants, both at their Skoshoved station and at their main station in Tuborg Harbor, where Tom ate during the RC-44 worlds that I was jury chair or on the jury. I can't remember what.
That's a news story.
Yeah. So Bravo Zulu to them.
Yes.
Also at SailGP, one of the, I think John used this in his video too. You know who that is in the lower right? Who did John team up with there?
Oh, I don't know.
That is Magnus, the Magnificent.
Oh, it is hiding behind his
sunnies.
Yeah.
And his Emirates GBR hat. And then there were some Aussies. I think there was a few famous photographers right behind them. I asked them to identify them. Speaking of FOSI, you see John's neck, and he's got his ID card around his neck.
Yes.
In the blue T-shirt. This is on the SailGP website. That is the nape of his neck and the back of his head. And for some reason, SailGP used this shot of John interviewing Sebastian Schneider, who finished on the podium the first time the Swiss were on the podium. And we have John's interview later in the show.
Oh, good.
Ted Ryman is saying, look at all that. Let's go back to that. Look at all that booze. They're as bad as Alistair.
Yes.
Well, who knows that they could have just had a coffee or a tea. It was lunchtime. And apparently Bravo Zulu and happy birthday to Peter Taylor. Chris Exley is saying, Peter, is it your birthday? I think it's also Mr. Doctor's birthday, Julia.
It was.
Was
recently.
it yesterday or today?
So. Yeah.
Not sure which, but regardless, any of you who are celebrating birthdays, we always like to celebrate FOSI birthdays and FOSIs in general, as you all know.
Indeed.
So that's on the SailGP website. John's now more famous than ever, having made the SailGP website. Look at that crowd, Julia.
Yes, it was incredible.
It was a good turnout. So here's, speaking of John, here is his coaching corner, his report for today. It's brief, gives you a little bit of a look in and around the SailGP venue, including some audio. Have a listen and a look.
Hi, behind the Emirates Great Britain.
Hi, Tom, Julia, and all the FOSI. I don't know how much audio you get, but this is us with no zoom in.
It all helps when you guys make some noise, but we've got 10 seconds. Let's get a countdown going. 7, 6, 5, 4.
And as Stevie Morrison would say, how's your timing? And I would say not very good, because they didn't really allow the time for the delay.
This is backstage in the media area, and you never know who you're going to bump into. So a little taste of SailGP. You probably hear the music cranking in the background, and it's been pretty emotional. I think at the end of the day, the results probably fair enough, but there's going to be some frustrated teams going home. But now I think it's time to party.
Okay, so we'll run some of John's interviews here in the SailGP segment. John Emmett, get to the front of the fleet. John Emmett's Coaching Corner, a regular feature here on Sailing Illustrated. And we also regularly talk about, I probably can stop talking about this. I think they're making good progress. I hope they are down in Oz. Mm-hmm. But I know we ran a couple of shows ago that the Australian Sailing is putting the big push on Brisbane 2032 to reinstate parasailing, as we have been talking on this show since the 31st of January, Julia. So yes. Good job. Keep it up, everybody. And we like to just mention that at the end of John's segment. Let's go to Long Beach in the Olympic Classes Regatta. We have a Bravo Zulu here, Julia. Well done in praise of high performance. It was a two-phase event. Remember, they did the first 5 classes that wrapped on Tuesday last week.
Right.
Took a couple days off, and then Thursday through Sunday, this past Sunday, was the second phase, which is what we're going to cover now. Started the 12th and ended on Sunday the 20th. And the Long Beach Olympic Classes Regatta wrapped up with a full podium and high spirits, marking a thrilling conclusion at classic Long Beach conditions. What a great place to run the Olympics, by the way.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Julia?
Absolutely.
What a great place to run the Olympics.
Yes.
Not up in Hurricane Gulch with all the, in San Pedro.
With the tankers.
Well, the tankers and all the traffic and the crime in and around that, what inevitably will be Port of LA. But let's don't dwell on that, because this event was a terrific week of elite racing in the iconic waters off SoCal. Full table of trophies and bibs, the pennies there, and as part of the Sailing Grand Slam now, this is the pivot that World Sailing has done in recognizing this handful of events that make up this global series designed to prepare athletes for the LA 28 Olympic Games. This regatta drew over 200 sailors from 44 countries, all testing their speed, strategy, and stamina on the same course, the same course that will decide Olympic medals in 3 years' time. Well, it will for a couple of the classes at least.
Yeah.
And what's John Emmett saying? Thinking positively, we will get an additional developed sailing venue out of 2028 games. I'm not so sure about that, John. I would think the music in the background of John's video, Alan Long says, is almost as obnoxious as the SailGP commentating. Hello, Josh Tozo, checking in from Newport, Rhode Island. Back to Long Beach now. Here are the 5 winners. Well, actually more than that. There's 15 winners. In the women's IQ foil, it was first, second, and third. Now, normally the second place is on the left, but in these photos, second is on the right as we look at them. So there is, when I don't know, I'm not going to try to pronounce that properly. Li is the last name, obviously. First place there in the middle. Second, Zhang Yan also from China, and Jiling Tan was third. She on the left. Then they've got those reversed. We got to talk to the Long Beach Organizing Committee about that. The men's IQ foil, Kun Bai was first. Jing Huang was second, and Zhen Huang was third. We got to work on our Chinese pronunciation, because that country is doing very well in our beloved sport, at least at the Olympic level.
They are.
Here are the FX, Julia, from Sweden there in the middle. First place, Villa Bobeck, and it was a name familiar, I'm sure, to many of you, top sailor, with Ebba Berenson. And I'm wondering if any of you knows whether Ebba Berenson is a relation of Johnny Berenson.
Yes.
I just wondering that.
Me too.
And I tried to look it up. I asked ChatGPT and couldn't get an answer. But if any of you knows in the chat, please let us know. Ebba Berenson, they are from Sweden, obviously, and they won the FX, the 49er FX. Second is Paris Hankin and Helena Scott there on the right. Fabulous stuff. In third place, another Chinese team, Yingquan Wang and Zhao Ya Su. They're on the left. So a lot of Chinese good results there in Long Beach. Speaking of good results, the 49er gold went to USA's Nevin Snow and Ian McDermott. So this is promising for our country in the Olympics 2028. There they are in the middle of that podium. Nevin Snow, who's from San Diego, I've known his parents since forever, and Ian McDermott, first in the 49er class. Then on the right, the Austrians, Keanu Pretner and Jakob Flockberger, from, again, Austria, and then third on the left, the Chinese team of Xin Wang and Tianyu Qi. Qi? I don't know, Qi. In the 49er class. And then the NACRA 17 class, the Brits dominating, again, John Gimson and Anna Burnett there in the middle. On the second place on the right, from Austria, Laura Ferrese and Mathaus Zachling from Austria, and third on the left, Lucas Haberl and Clara Stamminger, also from Austria. Now look, on the podium, I had to look this up because forever I've thought the second place was supposed to be on the left as you look at the picture, and third place would be lower on the right. So I asked ChatGPT, and I got on an Olympic site, and sure enough, gold is in the middle, as you all know, the highest platform. Second place is to the right of the gold medalist from the medalist point of view, or the audience's left, slightly lower platform, and then bronze should normally be on, at least Olympic standards, to the right. Third place to the left of the gold medalist, the audience's right. So I thought I was the one who was confused, but we were right. And if I did those Long Beach has this obviously bass backwards, and I think I did the results on Friday's show from Long Beach bass backwards because I thought second place was on the left as you look at the picture. Yeah, but it was not. Great classic, mostly classic Long Beach conditions for all of these 5 classes. In fact, for the 5 previous classes that raced in the first phase. Bravo Zulu to all concerned. It was a terrific event, sponsored, hosted by these clubs, by Long Beach Yacht Club, Alameda Bay Yacht Club, better known in the sailing world here as ABYC, Balboa Yacht Club, California Yacht Club, Newport Harbor Yacht Club. Fantastic stuff. Sorry, I don't know. Tell me in the chat, those of you, somebody will know who the red bird G with the white diamond and blue star is. Partner organizations, Sailing Foundation of SoCal, is it SoCal? Long Beach, I guess. CISA, which is the California International Sailing Association, and the Alameda Bay Sailing Foundation, plus a couple of sponsor organizations. Bravo Zulu to all concerned, and a fantastic event. Especially Bravo Zulu to Commodore Lisa Meyer. She's the Commodore of Long Beach Yacht Club, was the co-chair of the organizing authority for this event.
Well done.
Yep, exactly, Julia. Well done. Let's get into SailGP already. We've got some nice videos for you. As you know, this event in Portsmouth was the 8th, right? 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, 8th event. They're at the top. They're on the right. The 8th event for this season 5, the 2024-2025 season. Next is they head to Germany in just a little under a month. So that's cool stuff. They've got Russell and Larry have done a fabulous job. They're wrapping it up. That's why you see at the bottom a lot of the leaderboards, the standings. They'll say the race to Dubai. They wrap up in Dubai in the UAE, United Arab Emirates, at the end of November this year. Thank you, Bing Bong. Is telling me that Burgee was the Bahia Corinthian Yacht Club in Newport Beach. That's that Burgee that we couldn't identify. Thanks for that. Bing Bong, of course, is William Sangmeister, Julia.
Yes.
And by the way, I'm going to feature this on Friday's show because I don't have any photos yet, but William Sangmeister's older brother, Peter,
right,
John and Sarah Sangmeister's son, sailed in his first ever Chicago Mac and was on the winning boat. And he got recruited and interviewed to come sail with one of the top boats in the Great Lakes and beyond. So Bravo Zulu 2.
Good. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we'll cover that on Friday when I get some photos. I guess any other comments here? I'm just looking, Julie, at the comments. So many comments rolling in here from smart people, as I always say. Okay, so back to SailGP. This was the 8th event of the year, the Great Britain Emirates GBR SailGP. We were pulling for, frankly, I was, and I predicted, I thought these guys might win. Emirates GBR was ready for battle, according to all the headlines that we ran last Friday, as SailGP's Fast and Furious Racing returns to the UK shores this weekend. By the way, they had pretty good conditions both days. They were worried it was going to be a little light on Saturday. Yes. It was okay. In fact, in the pre-sailing and the warm-up, because it was so light on Friday, they did not get any practice racing in, as most of you may know. But then the French broke their wing prior to the racing on Saturday. And, Julia, I'm sorry to say this, but, we've been talking about borrowed boat events, where boats are supplied by the organizing authority.
Right.
And here it is. Now we've got the broken wings. We've got other breakdowns. There were quite a few breakdowns this weekend, and they don't report them very vociferously on the commentary, if at all, because of course they don't want to.
They don't want to.
They don't want to, but there's increasingly kind of an undercurrent of maybe these boats are getting a little long in the tooth, and maybe the maintenance needs to be redoubled. Maybe they can't do quite so many events quite so quickly.
Yep.
But it must be a bit of an issue. Jody Shields says he thinks the umpires must have been hoping the GBR team won as well. GBR, Ed Worley is saying, has a failure of the foil control system mid-regatta. Yes, and there were other teams that had problems, reported problems, including the Americans, who didn't race 2 of the races on Sunday. So we shall see, but I think, again, this issue is raising its ugly head. But let's hear directly from Dylan Fletcher, of the runner-up GBR team, from a video right after they finished on Sunday, finished second.
Yeah, really good result for the team, but to be honest, we're bitterly disappointed to miss out on the win, but I think just really proud of the whole team this weekend. If we continue to sail like that all year, we're going to be in great shape. It was a very, very close final. We kept fighting, got a bit caught up with the Swiss at the start and couldn't quite execute what we wanted to do, but we fought well, we came back into them, super proud of how the team sailed, and really stoked to have this amazing crowd behind us, and it's just such a privilege to be able to sail these yachts in front of our home crowd. Yeah, plenty of tech issues for us in the second and third race, but the tech team, SailGP and our team did a great job of getting us racing, a little bit late for the starts, but really proud again, and it's great to get that racing in and get a podium in our home event.
Good stuff.
Yes.
And the Brits did sail well all weekend. They didn't manage to win that final race. The Kiwis, once again, Pete Burling, if he's not the best sailor on the planet, I don't know who is, because the
He's
guy
done really well.
has just, after winning 3 America's Cups, he jumps into this thing, and with Blair Tuke and with Leo Takahashi and a superb team, they're leading the season, and they're winning. They're going from strength to strength. Fog Machine is saying at least 4 of the boats had mechanicals out of 12. I think there were even more than that. Fog Machine, a.k.a. Lance Burke here in San Francisco. And John Emmett is, he's back and forth with Pedro Foiling Sailor about next year's event in Sydney. But a point here.
Fog Machine.
Yeah, well, the point I was going to make was that Ted Ryman says they replaced the French mast very quickly, though.
Oh, that's true.
A lot of people didn't expect them to be able to race the French on Sunday, and they did. So Bravo's alluded to Russell's technical team, the SailGP technical team, who did get the French back on the water, got their act together. And but they do have a problem with these wings, obviously. And the T-foils, maybe, having gone to the T-foils, maybe that's aggravating the loads that they weren't quite engineered for or expecting. But another pleasant surprise was Sebastian Schneider of the Swiss team. He got his team onto the podium for the first time, finishing third. Let's have a listen to what he had to say. Again, with John, this is a John Emmett now interview. Mm-hmm. Terrific work by John Emmett. They ought to hire him at SailGP to do these things because, frankly, they're way more interesting. The questions John asks. Well, you all know. I don't have to promote John.
Actually, had some issues already when we were in the mooring this morning. We saw some things that were not working as usual. Luckily, we managed to do the 2 fleet race, normally. But after that start of the final, we started to lose control of the boat without, not from my fault. And we couldn't move the boards as quick as normal. And then the jib, and finally the wing would not invert anymore. So we could just not turn the boat, and we had to stop the race. I think we can improve a lot of things in a lot of areas, also in the work between the events, which is super important. So no major changes, but keep refining and keep working hard. Everything we could control, we did it well. So I think we have to be happy and positive about it. It's a huge milestone for us to make our first final. It's a lot of weight off our shoulders, and I think we can't wait for the next event now to try and be in that final again with a boat that works and try and win it.
Okay, so there's some back and forth here about the French wing in the chat. Mark Holland is saying that new French wing, I think he means the one that broke, was it was a new wing, rather. The French wing that broke, he says, Mark Holland, and he would know. Mm-hmm. It was new. And then Ed Worley is saying, Coots stated that the new French wing was built overnight at the SailGP factory in the UK. So,
wow.
So luckily, they were in the UK.
Right.
Because that's where their new technical center, they moved it from Warkworth down in New Zealand up to someplace in southern England. Mm-hmm. Fog Machine Lance Burke saying the new wing was cobbled together from parts. Good thing SailGP's fabbing and parts depot is fabbing, meaning fabrication, and parts depot is in the UK. Mm-hmm. Larry Kennedy checking in from the New York City's financial district. Larry, you going to move out if this new guy that's been nominated for mayor gets elected? Move to Florida or Tennessee like a lot of other people are doing? Mm-hmm. I couldn't resist, Julia.
Yes. I
couldn't resist. Okay, so that was a nice interview with Sebastian by John. Now John interviews Tom Slingsby. And at the end of this, I'm going to ask you all whether you think the penalty against Slingsby, I can't find a video. SailGP, there probably is one, but SailGP seems not to be putting anything out about this incident because a lot of people thought the penalty against Tom, and I'll ask you to opine afterwards whether it was correct or crutonic.
Tommy, you really showed what you can do today, but it must have been a very frustrating day. Can you just talk us through about the penalty in Canada and what was going on there?
Yeah, I've only just seen the footage of it, and honestly, my view is I don't know how the penalty gets transferred onto us. The British boat didn't go board down. They didn't attempt to jibe. If they attempted to jibe, we kept clear. We kept clear of the boats around us, and I'm very confused with that penalty.
Yeah, I mean, it just looked very, very touch and go from shore, and I guess you must be really frustrated. But you did a really good job all weekend of pulling through the fleet. You must take some confidence of that. And
yeah, we've got the speed, we've got the skills to do it. We had some really good moments today, and some average moments. We can sail better than that though, and we've got to go and look at the footage.
He's always so optimistic and positive, despite having what a lot. I mean, you tell me in the chat what you all thought, but what a lot of people thought, he just took a royal, screwing on the race course. John Emmett says Planet Sail, Matthew Sheehan. Yeah, he did a long piece on SailGP that was quite good. There were one or two other long pieces, and I didn't, I curate these videos, and I think John's stuff was good. Tom Slingsby is not confused. He's diplomatic, says fellow Aussie Peter Stevenson, a.k.a. Pedro.
I think that's probably
Foiling
right.
sailor, and he is very diplomatic indeed. Yeah. And now, John, let's go to John's interview with Dylan Fletcher.
Yeah, we just had some issues in the earlier races with the port board not raising, which sort of cost us the first, second and third race ultimately, but the tech team did a fantastic job. Boat was all fixed and squared away for that last fleet finals racing, so yeah, thankfully it didn't have an impact. I don't think it really affected us. I think the team did a fantastic job of resetting and dealing with that pressure. We know there's a lot of jeopardy in SailGP, and that's what it's about. You know, that's why it's exciting. Proud of the team this week and how we performed over the weekend to be, you know, to come out leading the fleet racing. We were starting well, we were going fast. You know, if we know if we continue to sail like this all year, then we're going to result in we're going to get the result we want.
Okay, now, Julia, I think we should also mention, as Yarvahe is saying in the comments, that Tom Morris, aka Mozzie, he ran a YouTube video that I watched last night. I watched the whole thing, and he has some ideas. I'm not sure how interesting they are about changing the format. And he makes the argument, see if I've paraphrased, if you all think I've paraphrased this correctly. He makes the argument, that is Tom Morris, Mozzie Sails in the UK, and he's done a lot of commentary on, and he's a hell of a good sailor. I've spoken with him, I think, once, and we've traded some texts back and forth. He's going to come on the show in due course at some point.
Yeah, good.
But he's a good guy, and as far as I can tell, and everybody tells me he is, so, you know, he must be, right?
Absolutely.
We'll let you check him out, Julia.
I will.
You check out his, You check out his YouTube channel. But he said this 3-boat format in the winner-take-all format is such a letdown because you're used to all the action and all the boats running around, and then suddenly you're down to 3 boats. It's generally over at the first mark, and that's true of all these races. But it's so short, it's a sprint, and it's just kind of over. And it's a bit of an anticlimax. And he started talking about running like they do in cycling, where you keep doing laps, and at the end of each lap, the last place boat drops out, is flicked. And then you do another, keep continuous lap. Then the next lap, the last place boat drops out. You keep doing it until there's one boat left that's the winner. I'm not so sure that's interesting. I still believe, and I haven't thought a lot about this, I got a whole long list of things that I'm going to send privately to Russell before I opine on the show about things I think they could do to fix some of the irritating things about SailGP, notwithstanding the commentary. But and as Fog Machine says, it wasn't over at the first mark this time, so it was a little more interesting than in the past. But I just think you run all the races. I would, if I was a television rights holder and in a country where my boat didn't make the final race, I'd want to see that final race, and I would figure out a way to have all the boats in the final race and still have a little more a little more climactic, a little less anticlimactic. Climactic, right? Climactic. I only went to Michigan, not to Stanford.
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
As Dogzilla Monster is saying, that is Stingray up in Seattle. All 3 boats in this final led at some point. It was terrific racing. Yeah. So you can fix the commentators, but maybe this format is still okay. But we'll see. And yes, the UK has more commentators in our beloved sport than any other country, I think. At least certainly top commentators, and have for a long time. Okay, now let's go to, Julie, let's go to Lisa Darmanen's wrap-up. It's a rather long video. I think it's 5 or 6 minutes long, but she interviews a lot of the sailors, does some stuff walking around in the technical area in the boat park. And I think this is perhaps the most interesting video coming out of the whole weekend. Have a look.
Okay.
Welcome to the debrief for the Emirates Great Britain Sail Grand Prix here in Portsmouth. Now, that racing was incredible. The crowds were absolutely insane, and the party is continuing here. But I want to catch up with some of the athletes and find out how their weekend went.
Pete Burley shows the rest of the fleet who's in charge. The winners of the Emirates Great Britain Sail Grand Prix in Portsmouth. It will be the Kiwis, the Black Boils.
Well, I'm back at the tech site. The boats are back. The pack-up is in full swing. First and foremost, I want to catch up with the winners. Leo, congratulations. First place for you guys. It must feel pretty good right now.
Yeah, it feels pretty surreal. Like a lot of hard work in the background paid off. So, yeah, really happy. And, yeah, I think the team are happy as well.
It was quite a tricky weekend. Obviously, yesterday was quite challenging, and then today had its own challenges. I guess, what made the Portsmouth racecourse so unique?
There's a lot of road furniture in the course, lots of obstruction. But yeah, no, I think just the team did a really good job of getting the geometry right, and especially with that left shift in the last race, it was really important to get that top right. And the tack barrier is pretty tricky, but no, we nailed it. And after that bad start, it was really nice to actually come through and pass a few boats. So yeah, really happy overall.
And everyone was making mistakes out there, falling off the foils. I mean, quite a lot of pressure on the flight controller. How did you find it?
Yeah, it was, they're telling me now that it was a bit of carnage, but I think, just focusing on myself and just backing the work. And, I think we're pretty happy with how it all went. It was a pretty tough day as a flight controller, I guess, just a bit of chop out there and then just the changing breeze and the road furniture as well. So, very exciting racing and, really looking forward to just building on this momentum.
Now, it was an epic grandstand in Auckland, another epic one here in Portsmouth. Do you think when you return to Auckland next year, you'll rival it?
Yeah, it was epic to see so many fans out there and a lot of Kiwi fans. So just made it all better when we sang the national anthem in front of them.
And, I mean, looking ahead, you guys, obviously, you won the event. You're now leading the championship. Must give you guys a lot of confidence considering the season you've had so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough with the long turnarounds, and then it's just Friday training now. So just got to be onto it from day one. And I think, we're building a really good momentum now with being in the lead. So, yeah, just got to keep it on now in the next few events in Europe, back-to-back events coming up. So just keep fresh and, just keep building on it.
Awesome. Well done, Leo, and enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you.
What was kind of like that sensation when you got told that you were in the top 3?
I was super stoked. Actually, I felt for a while I was the only one super happy. I was like screaming and everything, and the others was just like, let's talking already about the final. So yeah, no, but we're super happy. Like, it was a hard day. Like the first race really wasn't going well for a while, and we're just so happy that we managed to like pull it back together for the second and third, and to get into the final is just massive milestone for us, and we're just so stoked.
Now, it was a pretty eventful final. Obviously, you guys had an epic start and then came into a little bit of technical issues. So can you talk us through what actually happened on the boat?
Yeah, so we actually had a hydraulic leak. So, started having oil everywhere, and actually just the functions on the boat started not working anymore. So it started with the jib. Couldn't really adjust the jib anymore, and then eventually the wing. So, we just tried tacking at some point, and even the wing invert wasn't working anymore. So I just really couldn't sail anymore, which is a shame. But I mean, hopefully we get into another final soon, and for sure it won't happen again.
Well, a bit of a roller coaster, and as you said, it's awesome that happened in the final rather than before and got you out of it. But not too many events away is your home event in Geneva. How much are you looking forward to doing that with the momentum that you have?
Yeah, I think for us, we always said Geneva is really like our peak event of the year. Like that's where we want to show our best sailing. So to 2 events away, or like even 1 event with Sassnitch only coming up, I think you're just so happy to be on the right track, and we really want to win on home waters in 2 months.
Well, enjoy the top 3, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Lisa. Bye.
Kevin, obviously pretty eventful weekend for you guys, but awesome to see you out there win a few races today.
Yeah, that's good, huh? I mean, we are all happy to have a win today. A bullet, second place, and then not a good one. But happy to fight again in the fleet and get some good results.
It must have been pretty scary what happened this weekend, but pretty amazing that you actually got to get back out there today.
Yeah, yesterday was scary, and I mean, we have to understand why did it happen. I wasn't so confident this morning, to be honest. With this wind, with the forecast was pretty high, but we managed. And I mean, the big reaching to get on the racing area was enough to confirm that the wind was good.
Yeah, so you guys had this big downwind, sending it out to the racetrack with the new wing. Awesome job. I'm going to leave you to it because we might get run over. Well done. I've just spotted the Emirates Great Britain driver Dylan Fletcher wrapping up his media commitments. Let's get his thoughts on the day. Dylan, I know you were gunning for the win this weekend. How you feeling?
Yeah, really actually quite happy to put on such a great show this weekend. SailGP was fantastic. Disappointed not to come away with a win, but yeah, proud of the team's performance.
Now, that crowd was absolutely insane. Did you ever imagine that you would be sailing in front of so many fans for a British team?
No, it's incredible to be, here with 20,000 plus everyone else on the water and, behind the scenes watching. It's unbelievable. So a real privilege to bring this to the UK.
Sun's out. The wind was pretty tricky out there, though, but it did deliver.
Yeah, cracking racing all weekend. Probably the best event of the year, eh?
We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Dylan, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Well, that wraps up the debrief. Thank you so much for following along all weekend. Make sure you subscribe for more content, and we will see you soon in Germany. Until then, stay on the foils.
Stay on the foils. There's Pete. So wondering if they're going to get something with Pete Burling, but that was great to have Leo on. And it was an extensive interview with Leo. And you talk about somebody who's come a long way.
I was thinking of that.
From his Gov Cup days and he was always comfortable, but he's so much more outgoing now and mature and so on. I agree with Gordon Smith. It's just great to have Leo in the mix with us, Julia.
Absolutely.
Rob Fry, his dad, is on here. In Auckland and Sydney, New Zealand sailed with one hand tied behind their back, but didn't blame the boat. The media blamed the crew, though. Sensitive, Rob. I mean, they're going to have boat problems. But what else here? Geneva's light. I recognize that. We saw John Emmett in that video. I think that format that Lisa Darmanin does, walking around and grabbing who she can grab.
Yes.
And she grabs the top people for the most part. But it's nice to hear Leo. He doesn't go to the mix zone. The worst thing about SailGP, frankly, and they do this Olympic style media stuff called the mixed zone, which is, and part of it's I get it, for language reasons. And they bring the sailors out. They're standing up outside or they bring them outside, I guess, the media center. And they interview them. And you can all, a press gaggle can come around, put their mics up and get their little tablets out or their notebooks out and write. And they'll do it in different languages for different, I get it. But it misses, we've said this before on the show, it misses the fun of having Tom Blackwaller and Dennis Conner and John Bertrand and Chris Dixon all on the stage together with a Bruno Troublé moderating. And you get some back and forth, some give and take. It's quite a bit more interesting, quite a bit more entertaining, and I wish the hell they would do this. That opening press conference is so bland and so corporate and so awful. But when the sailors have just the adrenaline still flowing a bit, they've come in off the race course, they've had some interaction with other boats, maybe they've had some boat problems, maybe the umpires have made a call. It's so much better to have some interesting on the dais, on the table, top skippers, I think. I don't know what you all think, but yeah, Alex Hayworth is saying that the USA spent the regatta blaming the league. Yeah, okay. And Rob Fry says, you do know the backstory. I think Clay Embley's agreeing with me with it absolutely and a bunch of exclamation points. The more high-tech and complex the SailGP yachts it becomes more than boats on the water, or it becomes more breakdowns and failures. I combined that with Clay Embley's comment. Okay, there's tons more comments, and at some point, I will do some sort of a, what do you all think? And I'll ask you, in fact, maybe we'll have a panel discussion of those of you who have been keen observers of SailGP, have attended a few events, come on a Zoom call, and we'll discuss the pros and cons of various aspects of SailGP, because, it's here to stay. Larry, by the way, is now the second richest guy on the planet.
Good for him.
After I start to sound like I'm
Elon.
After Elon.
Yes.
But yeah, he's gone ahead of Zuckerberg and he's gone ahead of a couple others, but that's because his Oracle stock and this whole AI thing, they just announced another big deal today or yesterday.
Yes.
Oracle, right? Tom, they can't afford the fines if they speak their minds. Well, excuse me. The guy Russell's got to let them talk. He's going to have. I saw the comments from Ed Worley and others saying that maybe the punters, maybe the spectators there at the event, only 15% are sailors and the others are non-sailors. I don't know whether to believe that or not. I think most people who watch SailGP are sailors. Maybe the people who go sit in the stands are locals who just because there's something interesting happening locally that doesn't normally happen, so they go watch the way you and I might go watch something down here at the Presidio, or tell me where, even though we're not big fans of it. It's just happening.
Yes.
It's happening. I don't know. Just wait for the SailGP jet pods to be added to the yachts. Yeah, you know what those are? Those are motors, so the boat can be motored when it's light air.
Oh.
Maybe there isn't a lot to bitch about. Dogzilla Monster, who is the biggest fan, Stingray up in Seattle, is SailGP's biggest fan. In fact, Russell, if you want to do something smart, you'd make him the chief hype officer, not this other crouton. And you'd get Stingray at all of the events, hyping the events, reporting back to outlets like us, because, of course, he'd have to leave his witness protection program to do that. He is the biggest fan I know of SailGP. That is Stingray. The 15% fan number was stated by Coots. Well, you got to take things that people say with a grain of salt, right? So what are the standings, Julia? Well, the event that we've just seen in Portsmouth, of course, was won by New Zealand. They're in the top middle. Second place, Dylan Fletcher and Emirates GBR. Pete Burling still, if he's not the best sailor in the world, tell me who is. And then Sebastian Schneider. It's nice to see the Swiss finally on the podium.
Yes.
And they will come good, and they will come better. It's a hell of a good sailing country. And then down the list, Tom was fourth. And Ruggero Tita had, I think, his best regatta yet for Jimmy Spithill's team, Red Bull Italy. So that was nice to see. Julia, your team suffered a bit.
They did.
Diego Botín down in sixth. Denmark, Canada, Mubadala, Brazil, France, German, Deutsche Bank, Eric Heil's team. And then
Taylor Canfield.
The U.S., the poor U.S. They just go from... You'd like to say from strength to strength. They go from weakness to weakness. They just can't get out of their own way.
Do we know why?
Yes, we do, but I'm not going to say. That's the results in Portsmouth. I'm not going to say yet anyway. Here's the overall standings now. The Kiwis on top. Tom Slingsby still in second, 9 points back. More points than that. Only 2 points back. And then, Julia, your favorite team. Look at the smile on that kid.
I know.
On Diego Botín. That's why you like him. Handsome, smiling guy. Yeah. He's only 1 point behind Tom. So there's your top three.
Right.
And then the Brits also in the hunt. Dylan is only a point back of Diego in fourth. And then there's a bit of a split. Canada, France, Switzerland, Red Bull, Italy, Rockwool, Denmark, Mubadala, Brazil, the German Deutsche Bank team, and finally the U.S. Those last two teams have 0 points. Bloody hell, 0 points. They're 8 events into the season. In fact, they may have negative points. I don't know what the penalty situation has been. But that is not correct in anybody's book. But you do have these 4 now looking pretty likely. 3 of these 4 are going to be in the grand finale, it would appear, in Dubai, or in Abu Dhabi, I guess is the final race, come the last event of the year.
Yep.
Baton Rouge is asking, can someone tell me why the first... See if I can get rid of the green square. I've only done that once so far, Julia, this show. Can somebody tell me why the first leg is the way it is, meaning a reach leg? Well, because it's fast, and they're able to orient the course so that that reaching leg is right in front of the stands, wherever it is. They can orient the course and make that first leg, that turning mark, right in front of the grandstands.
Right. Oh, it sounds reasonable.
Fog Machine says the less said about the USA, the better. So, Tom, you're doing great. Yeah, Mark Holland is confirming what I was afraid was the case, that based on penalties, they actually owe points. Three of those bottom teams, I think. Maybe even, yeah. The USA is in a trough. Give us 3.5 years or so, Alan Long is saying. Okay. Well, that's the situation. That's the season standing, so to speak. And then we will follow up with a bit of report here on the U.S. We told you on Friday's show that Andrew Campbell had signed with the U.S. SailGP team. We didn't know what he was going to be doing on the boat, but when Saturday dawned, he was on the boat, and guess who was off? Mike Buckley, the co-owner and the CEO of the team. Presumably it was his decision. They finally took him off the boat, which is a step up in the right direction.
Yeah.
Andrew Campbell's on, and they actually had some mid-fleet finishes on Saturday. It looked like they were maybe starting to come good, and then they had some bad results later in the day. But that can only help. That can only help. But this may be the real problem. I love this kid. He's not a kid anymore, but his dad's a dear friend for many years. I hope he comes good. But the silly social media, this was their Facebook post, U.S. SailGP team, new week, focus unchanged. Well, you know, guys, the focus has got to be changed. The focus has got to be to figuring out what you're doing wrong. And then the comment, I mean, I'm just going to run three of the follow-up comments that showed up on their Facebook page. Chris Clark saying, perhaps you should change your focus. These are the polite comments, Julia. I'm not running the snarky ones or the name calling or the personal attack ones. But this gives you a flavor of what came posted, what came after that first post. William Lapracina, change your focus. You need to step aside and get a team that can win. Sad you cannot even come up with a victory, always making excuses and always focusing on your high-end designer wardrobe. Okay, now look, it's professional sport. And, you know, people, when you're in the spotlight, you're in the, you're going to get, you got to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
As Ed Worley says, focus or fuck us. Julia. Finally, Levi Nicholas, is that a real name? Says, I think last place is a great look on USA, LOL. Not a nice comment. Yeah, they've got to have a change. And I don't know who's going to drive the boat, but the obvious choice is H4, is Harry Melgus IV. But one hears that American Magic, New York Yacht Club's American Magic and Quantum Racing, Harry won the TP52 Worlds, helming that boat for American Magic Quantum Racing. And one hears they're keeping a very tight hold
on him.
Leash. I don't like the word leash, but they're really keeping him close to the family fold. Don't want him to go off and do this. There's a rumor also that has been circulating quietly. I haven't really, it's a rumor. It's not a one here, so I've not been able to confirm this. A lot of people are saying that one of the things Russell's got ready to go for next season is when he's got another team or two coming on, he's got another American team coming on. And Julia, the American team might be the replacement for this team. If they can't get their act together. So who knows?
Yeah.
Focused unchanged, David James is saying on December 8th of 1941, FDR did not say our focus is unchanged. Focus or fuck us. I like that, Julia.
No, I know
bad?
you do. You use it too often.
I don't. Maybe Ed Worley used it. That was not me. Quit worrying, Ed says, about social media and noise and get it together. Yeah, I think they do have a big distraction, but I think they've got bigger problems than that. So we'll see what happens. That's our report on SailGP. Any other comments coming in here? We'll grab them now in the comments section. Otherwise, we will move to our next segment here. Move smartly forward to the C block. Seeing no comments, Julia? Let's go to this day in history. The 22nd of July, of course it is, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere and Europe and North America. It's the 23rd down under. But what happened on this day, Julia, in 1969?
69.
Involving a sailor. Here's your first clue. Any idea who that is? Any of the FOSI in the chat recognize this gentleman? He's Spanish. He was Spanish.
Juan Carlo.
No.
Oh.
That is Francisco Franco.
Yeah, Franco. Yeah.
From Spain, who lived from 1892 to 1975. Chris Exley got it. Well done, Chris. That yeah. Gordon Smith got it. G. Franco. Yep, that's who that is. And of course, he was Hamish Ross got it too. Hamish is a student of history.
Oh, good.
Ted Ryman got it. Franco, the general and ruler of Spain for nearly 40 years, began his career as a young soldier, rising to second in command of the Spanish Foreign Legion in 1920 and later its commander. Franco was one of a group of military leaders who in 1936 planned a coup to overthrow the Republican-elected government, effectively starting the Spanish Civil War, which you all know how that ended, and he ended up as the dictator in charge for a long time. But what happened on this day in 1969, Julia? That's the question. Here's the clue. You mentioned him earlier.
Juan Carlos.
That is the yachtsman and Democrat, small d Democrat, H.M. His Majesty King Juan Carlos I of España. If you remember the 60s, you weren't there, Alan Long said.
That's not true, because I was just thinking that Franco was my first trip to Spain. He was very much evident.
Was he in charge?
Absolutely.
Franco the fascist.
Woo!
Yeah, well.
And we were driving, so you'd stop almost every mile.
Yes.
Wherever you're going, you'd get inspected and all that. I mean, it was serious.
Well, as you would with fascist regimes.
Yeah.
So what happened on this day? Well, let's think about it. I think Hamish Ross knows it. Born in Rome during his family's exile, Juan Carlos was named as the successor, surprised the hell out of everybody, to Spanish dictator Francisco Franco over his father. He became king on November 22nd, 1975, after Franco's death 2 days earlier, and the monarchy was thus restored. But what happened on this day? Though he was expected by many to continue Franco's fascist and dictatorial policies, Juan Carlos is instead credited with beginning and supporting the Spanish transition to democracy, which culminated in a general election in 1977 and a new constitution in 1978. An attempted coup, remember he stared down the generals in Parliament, an attempted coup was put down by the king in 1981. They came in with their guns, pointed at everybody, and he came in through the back door at the Parliament, said, "Put your guns down, gentlemen," or something to that effect, and get the fudge out of here. And they did. He put down that was pretty remarkable.
Yes.
Julia should have some bourbon cream in HRH, not HRH, in His Majesty Juan Carlos's honor.
I think it's about time.
Huh?
That's a
Julia?
good idea. Good idea.
What a good idea, Fog Machine, a.k.a. Lance Burke. I'm going to hold it. I want to put him in the PIP there while we're doing this.
Oh, yes.
Because,
Uh-oh.
Are you going to finish the bottle?
Okay.
Because, his family are the Bourbons. That's why Lance suggested that. That's how clever he is.
Thank you.
Julia?
Yes. Tastes good.
There was a drop.
I know.
I'll wash that down with some coffee.
Good.
Yarvahe is saying that Juan C. was a bit of a naughty boy, too. Well, we won't get into all that. Is Franco dead? Yes, he died quite some time ago. So what happened on this day in 1969, Julia? That's the question on this event of interest. In 1969, on the 22nd of July, Spanish dictator Francisco Franco's choice of Prince, see, Hamish had this right, Prince Juan Carlos, he was then the prince, his dad was still around, as his successor is ratified by the Spanish Parliament. Both the naming took place on this date by Franco, and also then quickly ratified by the Spanish Parliament on this day in history, 22nd of July, 1969, Julia. Now, for extra credit, what kind of a boat is he sailing here in North America in, I think, September? Would you like a clue? There he is. Clay Embley's saying, I think you guys are probably due for a shipment. No, we got another bottle, Clay. We're okay. Thank you. But a shipment would always be welcome. Julia, what kind of a boat is that? Rick Bannerow, he gets
6 meter.
It's a 6 meter. He's
Oh,
right.
I should know that. I should know that.
It's a 6 meter. Chris actually knew it too. There is
Yeah.
His Majesty King Juan Carlos, who's now the emeritus because his son Felipe is the king. And I texted him last night.
Did you?
I did.
And he answered because he always does.
He does. We've been good friends for a long time, and I texted him. There it is in the shot to His Majesty King Juan Carlos. Su Majestad. On Tuesday's Sailing Illustrated live show, we will celebrate for this day in history, a regular feature, an event in Spain on 22 July 1969. ...
Mm-hmm.
And then I sent him those slides we've just run. And texted them to him. And that's what it looked like when I texted him one of those slides, but I sent all of them. This day in history, and then I said to, as we always do, he and I always conclude our text
Fuerte
abrazo, which means strong hug, big hug.
Yeah.
And yes, it's going to be at the Sewanaka, the 6 meter. Well, there's more. Here's what he texted back, Claire. Thank you, Tom. How are you? Nice to hear from you. I will be in Oyster Bay, Long Island. Yes, Claire, at the Sewanaka Corinthian Yacht Club from the 16th of September to the 27th for the 2025 World Championship of the 6 meters big hug. And that came back almost immediately.
How nice.
Last night.
Yeah.
David James says the king never answers my text, but I assumed it was the power outage in Spain. Well, he's not living in Spain necessarily. I'm not going to say where he's living. But that was last night, and he texted came back within a few minutes.
He always does to you.
Well, not always, because it might be he's asleep or he might be otherwise occupied. But His Majesty King Juan Carlos, great sailor, put in charge of Spain, and immediately they were so surprised. I think most everybody in Spain were surprised when he did not, having been named by Franco.
Right.
Assumed that there was a deal that he would continue Franco's fascist policies and regime, and he did not. He became a little D Democrat straight away.
And I don't remember how perturbed Franco was, or he was just expecting it.
I don't know. I don't care. Good question, though. Dennis Conner is also expected to sail. Yes, I looked at Dennis's latest video. He does the YouTube videos from time to time, and Dennis has a brand new 6 meter that was built in Spain, shipped to San Diego. He's been sailing it, not very successfully so far, but they have a lot of kelp down in San Diego, and that's not good for sailing 6 meters around because they don't have a kelp cutter on the front of the keel or the rudder.
I love the 6 meters.
I thought Juan Carlos lived in Mallorca, Ted Ryman is saying. He does have a home there. They've got a big palatial place. I've been there for a cocktail party and more. And it's, but I don't believe that's where he's living full time. I won't say more than that, but there is our little segment, Julie, for this day in history, featuring a sailor of considerable repute.
Yes, indeed.
Who's still at it at age, whatever he is, 80 something. And he's going to race at Sewanaka. Peter Taylor will be there. Probably Claire will be there. Vice Commodore Harrington. Okay, let's do the Admiral's Cup because it's been a terrific week in the sport, and particularly in the UK. The the Admiral's Cup Channel race, of course, Ron, the Swedish boat, for the win. Sailed a terrific race. They had all sorts of conditions. And then this picture, which I ran on my Facebook page after they won, that was taken by Mr. Doctor. He took a number of pictures, sent it to me and others, I'm sure. And there is the picture of this winning boat, of course, that we featured before. And Ed Worley put an interesting comment on my Facebook page. I think it was Ed, who said, wouldn't the guys who started the America's Cup be fascinated by this photo? George Steers, who built the boat, the guys that designed and built the Yacht America, to look at this boat, see what the technology is. Now, I didn't think of that when I ran this, but thank you, Chris, actually, for your comment. But there's a generator and a Starlink. You got a Starlink there on the back. You can see it right there. Right. And that's just at the dock, and that picture was taken after they got back, after winning the Channel race, and that's by Andrew McIrvin. Thank you. Now, here's the Channel race, a 4+ minute video.
The Admiral's Cup is back 22 years later, right here in Cowes, the spiritual home of yachting. 15 teams, 30 boats, some of the world's most decorated sailors, and some of the most successfully campaigned yachts on the offshore racing circuit. Today marks the start of the Channel Race, the first event of the series, and with no discard on the table, early points are up for grabs.
Well, I think first of all, really nice that we got an Admiral's Cup again. I'm still one of the generation who've done a lot in the past, and it was always one of the best events ever. So it's fantastic to see so many boats around here.
First time, everybody's a little bit unsure about how this is all going to go down. And that's kind of cool too, you know. We've all placed our bets in terms of picking crews and picking boats, and well, here we go.
It's going to be very tactical and strategic.
It's like a relatively short course, 165 miles, but lots of opportunities.
We're expecting a little bit of everything, to be honest. Quite a challenge.
We know we have a little bit of an underdog position, but we have the longest preparation. We've got a lot of support. I would like to thank my dad for doing this for us.
They've done a wonderful job putting this together. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. The people are here to race, and they're good people. It's going to be awesome.
30 seconds. 20 seconds, what?
Yeah, well, you know, it was 18 hours, so we thought about it more like a very long coastal, everyone up on deck all the time. We got everything in one day, so it was great. And it was also interesting to see the difference between different boats as well, how they perform in different conditions.
Very interesting regatta. I think that all the crew did an amazing job.
These guys just don't come off the gas at all. I've never experienced anything like that in my entire life. The last few hours were pretty hectic.
This is where we gain a lot. I think that gain a lot to Bojes that was leading up to that moment.
It was almost like a movie. Like we were sailing offshore, and that is what you would dream of as a child growing up.
Sometimes 5 degrees of lift, 5 degrees of weather make you hero or zero. This time we were lucky.
20 miles out from the finish, jolt, bow ideal, and we were lined up 3 abreast and just all in the mail.
You know, it felt like we were, you know, constantly fighting between each other. We were seeing each other all the time. It was tough in the waves, driving the boat and trying to keep that speed.
We definitely went at it with the intensity of an inshore race, even though it was a sort of coastal. There's lots of sail changes, and we were always trying to think one step ahead.
The breeze was coming from 3 or 4 different directions at times, so it proved pretty tricky, and a mix of all conditions, so every dog had its day.
Yeah, you know, I think for us, our strength is really this inshore racing these next few days. So I think we're really happy that we've managed to hang on nicely in this windier offshore race. You know, come away with a good, solid result to start the event.
To take first in any one of the races is a tremendous honor. Everybody left everything out there, the whole fleet. So it was an incredible night.
Channel Race delivered a testing start to the 2025 Admiral's Cup. Team Django led AC1 for Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, while Callisto topped AC2 for Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron. Italy and Hong Kong are now tied on points, as the battle now shifts to the inshore races next week.
Okay, I don't know who the guy was. You Brits will probably know who the guy was that had the microphone and doing the commentary, but I thought it was a really nice video.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit longer than we like to run on here, but
That was good, though.
Didn't you think it was good?
Yes.
Here's a shorter one from Balcaddy Media. The guy he's an Aussie and he's been there. We ran one of his things last Friday, and this is what's his name? Crosby Lorimer is his name, right? I don't know the gentleman. I've seen his fine work, good stuff. And here's a video from him, minute and a half, a bit of a better wrap up, if you will.
So the first race of the Admiral's Cup is done. The Channel race finished early this morning, or later in the morning for the very smallest boats. And we have a very good start for the Aussies, both in very good positions overall. And that's exactly what you want, because there's so much still to play for, but a solid start gives confidence. And if you're good at inshore mode, which I think both of those boats are, that builds the confidence also for that series of 3 days worth of racing before you go into the Fastnet, which of course can either increase and improve things or completely undo you, as the results over many years have shown. As for the race itself, it was a game of two halves, to use the sporting cliche, with the first half probably suiting the light air flyers, one of which is behind me, the Wally Rocket 51, which flew out of the start and did extremely well, in fact, in the whole race. But for many of the ones that suited the lighter airs, they kind of got picked back in the second half, particularly in the very strong downwind running that came from Le Havre and then back into the Solent itself. And that's really when Zen and Backed Black did well, picking up a whole bunch of places there. Currently, the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda leads overall, with Hong Kong team second and the Royal Swedish in third. We look to see what happens after Tuesday. That's when the inshore races start, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. That'll be a little bit of a combination of probably round the Cairns and some windward lewards, and possibly one day in Christchurch Bay. So we look forward to bringing you more of the racing a little later. See you then.
Balcaddy Media's great stuff, and I'm going to keep running his stuff. It's got an Aussie focus because he's an Aussie, but what the hell? Now here's from a brief video from North Sails about Ron and about their win, featuring one of our good friends and FOSI.
Offshore races are always fun. This was actually a true offshore race because we had all conditions, from 5 knots to 25 knots, and all different angles, upwind, downwind, reaching. So I think in that sense, very equal for everybody. It's not that one boat can really go much faster on certain angles. So I think it was a very fair race. The boat has been doing a lot of offshore racing, and that's as well what the owner originally said. He wants to have a boat for offshores. I think that's one of the really good things with North Sails. It's evolving. People always think there's nothing happening, but behind the scenes there's happening a lot. Like for example, the Code Zeros has been done a huge development. We know that we're now on the top of the bill again. But you have a boat and you try to design sails to suit your boat the best, and I think we made a huge step compared to last year already again. So it's always evolving. So it's an ongoing story. Always try to get better, and I think that's the really good thing with North Sails. Not just sit back. If you're already on top of everything, you just have to keep going, and that's what I really like about the company.
Bowie Becking, there is a good sailor. Particularly good offshore sailor. Look at the comments. Interesting, smart comments,
yes,
Julia.
Absolutely.
The Fastnet will be quite a sight. Yarvahe is saying will be quite a sight with 4 UL teams. Will be out at Hurst with the camera. Yeah, that Fastnet, of course, is Saturday after the 3 inshore races today. I am not looking at the results today. I'm not going to worry about overall results. Somebody wants to put in there who the top 3 teams are, just for the sake of it. That would be good. In the chat, thank you. A couple of you said, watch out for Yacht Club de Monaco. This was last Friday, but don't see them in the hunt yet. The Aussies are okay. Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, as you could hear, is leading, and that's interesting. The Wally Rocket 51, Chris Exley says, looks amazing. Yes, indeed it does. I'll try to get some focus on that boat during the inshore races, and thanks to North Sails for that video on Ron and Boa Becking. That's it for the Admiral's Cup. Now, what is normally an AAAA has turned, Julie, into a feature on the Tasar Worlds, because that's where Alistair has been sailing with his daughter Claire. Did pretty well, considering they couldn't sail the last 2 races. I think there was a bit of an injury on the boat.
Right.
But nonetheless, they finished 17th out of, I think, 33. And here is Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote for today. But I'm going to start off, not with his video, but with a feature of the Tasar Worlds.
Oh, good.
If that's okay with you.
Yes.
Huh?
Sure. Sure.
You approve?
Absolutely.
My coordinating producer? Let's get into it. So that's AAAA, Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote, featuring the Taser Worlds. They also started out with the Europeans. It's the 50th annual, not annual, but the 50th World Championship. It was at Garda. Wrapped up, I believe, on Sunday. And that fabulous, I mean, how many regattas have we covered in the last 2, 3, 4 weeks at Garda?
Yeah.
Foiling, including foiling week, but just beautiful photos of the Tasers racing there. And you cannot beat that as a venue. Just a fabulous venue. And here is a brief video I found on their Facebook page, courtesy of the Circolo Vela Arco. And there's no audio with it, so it's not like I haven't turned the audio up here, but it just shows these boats. No kite. I used to race a Taser with my wife. Tough boat to sail because there are 3 modes. You've got the low mode, which is fast. You're planing upwind. The high mode when you're pointing, and then there's kind of an intermediate. And these are it's a terrific class, popular in the U.S., the U.K., and particularly in Australia, a few other countries. But nice stuff. There was a good contingent there from the U.S. And Jonathan McKee there on the left, he and his wife have been perennial champs in that class with the American team. Then the British team a little bit larger, including this year's winner. This guy, he's fabulous. Yeah, Mylar Mainsail. Mylar Sails Alan Long. And then the Aussie contingent, there is Alistair in the background. Big, tall Al. And biggest contingent, I guess that's probably the country with the biggest, the most number of Tasers racing. There are the final results. And Nick Craig, who has won the Championship of Champions in dinghy racing in the UK, I don't know how many times, but he is certainly one of the best small boat racers, not only in the RYA in the UK, but certainly in the world, having won 6 or maybe 7 OK Dinghy Worlds, if memory serves. We featured him on this show. I don't know how many times. He's a good friend of Boomer Bland and others of you who are in the Finn and the OK Dinghy world. But he won, and Jonathan and Libby McKee were second. They from Seattle. They're representing both Seattle and Corinthian Yacht Club. It was interesting to see that. A Canadian, Hugh Tate, whom I don't know, sailing with Anna Tate, presumably his wife or daughter, was third. So bravo Zulu to all of them. 33 teams from 9 nations. And Alistair and Claire were 17th. And that is having not sailed. They had DNS in the last 2 races due to an injury.
Right.
Now, Nick Craig, the winner, we featured on this show, number 691 on the 5th of March, 2024, when he'd won his, 6th OK Dinghy Worlds, I guess it was. And here is Alistair's interview with Nick Craig after Nick won the Taser Worlds this past week.
G'day, Tom, Julia, and all the FOSI. That's Friends of Sailing Illustrated, by the way, FOSI.
Got it.
This is AAAA, which is Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote for the week. And it's my pleasure to be standing here with Nick Craig. Welcome, Nick, who's just won the Tasar Worlds. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you.
We're at Lake Garda together, and he's just won it with his crew, Toby. So we're just going to have a quick chat. Tell us about the racing. How'd you go? You won, obviously, but tell us a bit about the racing.
Yeah, really good. It was very hard. The fleet's so competitive. Load of ex-Olympians in the fleet. And I think we got a bit lucky. The wind all week was like 13 to 17 knots. And we just found an upwind groove in that stuff, so had a little bit of upwind edge. We didn't get tested in light winds. We've never sailed a boat in light winds. There was one race where it nearly started in light winds, and I was very nervous, and then the wind just came in 30 seconds before the start. So it was one of those weeks where it just worked out for us.
Yeah. I mean, I only did 9 of the 11 races because my crew was injured, but I've never done 9 races in a row where you hiked 2 people up hiking the whole time, every single race.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was lovely conditions. Yeah, I mean, Garda delivered it. No, it didn't deliver the full aura, so we didn't get the 20-25 knots, but we had a good 3/4 aura every day till today when it poured with rain. But to get 11 out of 12 races is pretty good going.
So tell us about Toby, your crew.
Yeah.
Was he all right?
He did all right, yeah. Yeah. Jumped straight in the boat, and I mean, his feel for boat is just phenomenal. So straight away, every tap jibe was perfect. He had to get used to some new things like doing the spanner, so I get to shout spanner at him quite a lot, which is quite satisfying, because I'm allowed to say it legitimately. But yeah, he did a brilliant job, and we've been sailing together now for 26 years, so that helps, having that kind of feel together in a boat.
There's so much of your sailing Nick, you've done on your own, right? Tell those a bit about your background.
Yeah, so I've mixed quite a lot of two-man sailing with Toby, other really good crews. I guess main boats have been Enterprises, OS 400s, but all sorts. B14s, I think that stood us in good stead, that kind of semi-planing upwind moding, so that helped. And then a lot of single-handed sailing, mostly OKs and fins, but lots of other great single-handers as well. And I think that helped. The runs felt very much like the OK, actually, that kind of steering and working the waves and going by the lee. So I think sailing different boats, you always bring something to a new boat. So that stood us in good stead, I'd say.
And the club? Done a good job?
Club's, I mean, what a location.
It's been a killer, hasn't it?
Fantastic location. Looking forward to some doors on the clubhouse. We'd have to wear a jacket indoors, but the location's fabulous.
And finally, Nick, I'm a bit of a raving fan for the class, but but tell us about the Tasar.
Yeah,
you're relatively new to it. Tell me about why it's a great boat.
Yeah, I mean, great boat, hidden gem. I mean, I now regret not discovering it earlier, because it's just so interesting. There's so many gears and things you can do with it. Upwind, there's a high mode, a low mode, an in-between mode. There's so much you can do. The rig, the sail, rotating mast is unique. And there's many different ways of sailing it. We were seeing, the Aussies tend to be low and fast. The Americans high and still pretty fast. So all sorts of modes. There's lots to be got out of it. Downwind. Class is big internationally. I mean, this was a relatively small world, but there's been 100 plus, which is fabulous. And nice culture, nice feel. We all come in, we race hard on the water, come in and sit around and have pasta and beer and a good chat. So we'll be back for more for sure.
Fantastic. Well, I've done many worlds with 120, 130 boats plus in the Tasars.
Yeah.
This has only had 36, but it's been the highest standard I've seen.
Yeah. There was some talent in the top 10, top 20, wasn't there? Yeah, and throughout.
And you're the winner, Nick. Congratulations,
Thank
mate.
you. Delighted
And
with that.
great to have you on Sailing Illustrated.
Thank you.
Okay.
Cheers.
See you guys. Bye.
Okay, that's Alistair and Nick Craig there at Lake Garda after the World. Alistair's saying in the chat that 5 of the top 6 were Taser World Champions. And I think that, if memory, tell me, Alistair, if you're still on, fantastic, Dolly DeVola saying fantastic boats from the brilliant and gifted Frank Bethwaite. Yeah. The problem we had, and I sailed not only on our little lake with one, but we also, the boat was extremely light, especially for that time. It had a very thin fiberglass skin and then a core and then another inner skin, or inner fiberglass skin on the inside. And if you did as little as bring it up, so little as put it on the beach, and there were some rocks, some stones on the beach, you'd get little indents into the hull. I don't know if they fixed that or not, guys. It would be interesting to know that, because it was a fun boat to sail. I mean, it was the first boat that I sailed that you could get planing upwind, even in kind of medium air. Great report, Alistair. Yep, super interview. And this guy, Nick Craig, I'd love to get him on the show sometime. I know a lot of you know him, especially the Brits, but I think their next Worlds, Julia, if memory serves, is going to be in Perth. Probably in the Swan River. I mean, certainly on the Swan River, and it'll be breezy, presumably. So if that's the case, we'll have to cover that as well, and I'm sure Alistair will cover it for us and maybe give us another AAAA for the future. And Alistair says, yes, they fixed that problem of the very thin skin and the core, so the modern boats, apparently, that boat's been around for a long time. Alistair Murray's awesome Aussie anecdote. Go ahead.
This actually has already occurred team standings of the Admiral's Cup.
Okay, good. Is it in the chat?
Yeah, it's here.
Is there a link?
No, just listen. Yacht Club is Monaco's 1.
Yes.
Royal Hong Kong is 3.
Yes.
And Costa Smeralda is 3.
Julia, start again. Read it carefully. Wave your arms around, get your heart pumping, get the blood to your brain. Go ahead.
Yacht Club in Monaco is 2.
Oh, they are second, so they are having a good. Yep.
Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club is 3.
Yes.
And is 2. And 3 is the Yacht Club of Costa.
Yacht Club Costa Small. I thought, that was after today. So who's leading?
Current team standings at Admiral's Cup.
Well, who's leading today after the? I don't see that. Where is that? Is that in the chat?
Yes.
Oh, I see it. Current team standings. 1, Yacht Club de Monaco. Okay, so whoever pinned, several of them said they thought the Monaco would be good. 2, Royal Hong Kong, and then 3, YCCS. Right? I see that in the chat now.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Chris, actually, for that. Thank you, Julie, for calling that to our attention. That's interesting to know. Now, the America's Cup. We've been telling you that there's been very little public. In fact, next to no, Julie, your mic's off again. You've pushed when you had a cough. You got to, that's a latching switch there. So you push that. Now test it. Yeah, okay, now you're working. Thank you, Ted Ryman. Ted Ryman's in charge of our audio from down in Cape Town, South Africa. Thank you for that. It's pretty quiet going. As you know, the AC-38 is scheduled to be in Naples in sometime in 2027. There were reports, in fact, Richard Gladwell said that the media, several of you sent me the quote, Dogzilla Monster, Julia says, you need more bourbon.
Probably so.
She has problems with that mic switch at the best of times. I need to maybe move that back and make it a momentary switch instead of a latching switch, Julia.
Yeah.
So blame that on me. This thing is... I'm reliably informed there's no legal action being filed this week. I believe that to be the case. Richard Gladwell and others were reporting from the SailGP event that the word circulating around there was that the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron is going to hold a deed of gift match and put the Royal Yacht Squadron's feet to the fire in later this year, perhaps December. And of course, the Royal Yacht Squadron won't have an AC-75 boat, or any boat probably, down in New Zealand in which to contest such a thing. And if they try to do that, that is the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, I'm sure the Royal Yacht Squadron and their lawyers will be in court in New York at 60 Center Street as quick as you can say, file!
Yeah.
Alistair Murray's going to sleep. He can't stay awake. Good night, Alistair. Thank you for that report.
Yes, indeed.
So that's the latest. The Royal Yacht Squadron is being supported, I think, and they're taking a tough stand against the ridiculous actions by the trustee, defender, Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron. They're being supported by the Société Nautique Genève /Alinghi, and by, I believe, although they won't tell me, by New York Yacht Club and American Magic, and saying take a tough stance against this terribly bad trustee and their lack of negotiation, their lack of coming to a fair deal, the lack of sharing the financial information. And again, what they've done, the RNZ has just let Grant Dalton just grab all the money coming in from the venue, from the title partner, from the television, and then how he uses that money for his own team and otherwise, that he won't tell the challengers, nor will he share any of it with them. And that's the rub, and that's that, along with some of the other things in the protocol, Julie, are simply unfair and not correct. Now, the Royal Yacht Squadron, we hope, is going to take a tough stance. They've got to not be Neville Chamberlain in 1938.
Yeah.
And declare peace in our time just because they get tired of being tough and strong against the RNZYS. And they got to do that. That's the job of the Challenger of Record. That is the Challenger of Record's job, to represent all of the challengers and negotiate as good a deal as possible for the challengers, not to roll over and play dead. And so far, the squadron, I'll back it up, so far the squadron has been doing a good job. Let's hope you see the shot, the smoke from a gun, a starting gun on their porch there in Cows down there on the parade. You hope that they keep strong. on behalf of the Challengers. That is the Royal Yacht Squadron. As David James is saying, not just unfair, but non-compliant, not to mention unsportsmanlike. Yes, indeed. So that's the latest state of play. I don't believe there's any court. I hope they don't go to court. I hope they do settle, but I hope the Royal Yacht Squadron takes a really hard stand, and sooner or later the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron will come to their senses and rein in Mr. Dalton, because they have delegated their trustee duties, responsibility to their representative team, which is against the deed of gift, which is against New York state law. Clark Chapin is weighing in. TNZ GD has lost the spirit and vision of what the America's Cup was once intended. Ed Worley is saying Alan Long must have a new pope again. Okay, well, Yarvahe saying that Ben was quite upbeat on the BBC yesterday. I don't know about that, but one thing I do know is that this club is the worst trustee in the history of the Cup. And you can talk about New York and their long 132-year history of defending the Cup, but they were always trying to have a fair and decent match. Yeah, they wanted to be sure that the rules were the same originally as they faced when they sailed across on their own bottom to race the Brits in 1851, and they slowly but surely, New York dialed it back and made it more accessible and more easy, I guess is the word, for the challengers, and so much so that they got rid of you got to have the sailcloth built in your own country. They got rid of that. They got rid of, they allowed multiple challengers to race off starting in 1970 in the Challenger Selection Series, and that was really the end of New York's hegemony. Okay, well, that's where that all stands, and let's leave it at that and go to the last leg. And the last leg to Gloucester, this famously good photo. We're going to talk about the Ocean Race Europe. Starts next month on it's starting in Kiel. The race starts on the 10th, and they're going to race Kiel to Portsmouth to Portugal. I don't know how, Matosinhos, Portugal, and then Cartagena in Spain, and Nice in France, Genoa in Italy, and then Boca Bay, MNE, Julia. MNE. You know what that Olympic code is? Montenegro.
Oh, yes.
Remember we said that at the top of the show.
Oh, Montenegro's beautiful.
It is indeed. So that's the race course. And they say, I'd never been to Boca Bay, let alone Montenegro. It's also known as the Bay of Kotor. Kotor is a stunning fjord-like bay on the Adriatic in Montenegro. It's known for its dramatic scenery, historical towns, and calm, clear waters. And here, Gordon Smith agrees, Montenegro is fabulous.
It feels like you're in a fjord. I mean,
really?
Yeah.
Well, that's what they say. And here is the promo video, brief promo video for this next month's, the Ocean Race Europe. I got a big smile on your face when those final few scenes there.
Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful. And I've been there.
Well, you haven't. Everybody here says I've not been, of course, but it's fabulous. Gordon Smith, I really enjoy the ocean race Europe, entirely different from the ocean race, but it is wonderful racing and great for the crowds in the sport. I agree. I like the idea. And it's like a couple other races that go around various countries or islands in this, but good stuff.
Yes.
Okay, that's the Ocean Race Europe. Starts on the 10th of August in Kiel, wraps up in Boca Bay in Montenegro on the 21st of September. Some ports they stop, some ports they do the flyby. I guess Portugal's a flyby. And Ed Worley is saying, yes, that would be a nice vacation cruise.
It is.
Ocean Race Light, Dolly DeVola is calling it. That's probably a good point as well. Okay, Julia, that gets us to our Whiskey Tango Foxtrot here in the D block. And we've got some, I think they're all clean today. You'll be disappointed to hear. They're all clean. Starting with this one. The single letter from the Gutenberg Bible is widely, this is dedicated to you and my late great mother, Julia. The single letter from the Gutenberg Bible is widely recognized as the best in any typeface. This single letter, the letter E. It's an old E, but it's a good E. That is so awful. And we always try to have one pun in here, but it was a good pun. It's an oldie, but it's a goodie.
Yep.
Including the pun. That's from Boomer Bland, who's facing some health challenges, as we reported on a previous show.
Yeah,
and
we
talked to him.
Better.
I did. I talked to him. I called him the other day, and he's hanging in there. He's fighting it like a true naval officer, so the submariner that he was.
Yeah.
And he's going to come good. You watch. This guy he's got.
I know that.
Real heart, and he's going to do it. What archaeologists will find, Julia, in 500 years? There's some silicon in that shot, Julia.
Yes.
Lips, boobs, and their job was to work on OnlyFans from 2020 to 2060. Do you have an OnlyFans account yet?
No.
You should. We could do senior porn. We could do adult, senior citizen porn. AARP probably wouldn't. American Association of Retired People person.
Take away our contract.
Would probably, yeah, right. Tom doesn't usually get jokes about typefaces, at least mine. Well, you never know, Gordon, That's from Greg Phillips. I mean, when Greg sends something that's that clean, I have to run it, right?
Yes.
Have to run it. Now, here's one, also from Greg Phillips. Sign of the times. Oh, my God, Susan, can you imagine how luxurious planes will be in 50 years' time? And there it is. That's what you get today. You get a Diet Coke and some crappy pretzels. Man, oh, man. Isn't that the truth, though?
Oh, it is.
Huh?
Yes.
That's from Greg Phillips. He sent that in. Okay, now, it gets a little racier, Julia, not much. He's a mix, the owner says of his dog. He's a mix between a bulldog and a Shih Tzu. So the breed is called a, and the lady, no doubt that's Sandy Taylor, because that was sent in by Peter Taylor.
Yeah.
And Sandy said, don't do that.
Don't say it.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. And now we have to wrap up here with a sailing one. This from, Ryman sent this. This is the cleanest thing Ryman has ever sent. What part of, and then all these, head up, head of wind, beach, beam reach, broad reach, all these terms nobody understands except keen sailors. What part don't you understand about sailing, our beloved sport? For that from Ryman. That's good, isn't it?
It is.
Give him some applause. You always give these fingers. Give him some applause for sending in a clean one for a change. Yeah, no peanuts. That's Alan Long's right. Southwest, okay, it's a budget airline. You could fly up and down the coast here. It was okay. And you get a bag of peanuts and, a tomato juice if you were feeling healthy at noon, or you could have a Diet Coke, or you could have a water or a tea or whatever. You could have a cocktail. Now they don't even serve peanuts because of the problem with some kids or some people on the plane having a peanut allergy.
Yeah, I know.
And going in and, anaphylactic shock, I guess, on the plane. You can't even get peanuts. You can't get peanuts at the bar at St. Francis Yacht Club anymore.
Yes.
It's this little party mix stuff of salty, crappy carbs. There's some alliteration.
Yes.
Crappy carbs that are bad for you. Yeah, maybe it was that swig of that bourbon cream. That tasted pretty good, Julie. Thanks, Ryman. Thank you, Ted, for that. And as always, we like to end with Blake Middleton's All the Smartest People Sail, including one of the smartest people, apparently, in the last century, if not in the history of the world, Albert Einstein, who was a keen sailor.
Yes.
And apparently not a very good one.
Never mind. He didn't care. That's
Sailing
not.
around Long Island Sound when
He wasn't racing.
when he was a professor at Princeton. Well, you still, you should still be somewhat competent. I think he was just happy to get away and do something that didn't occupy his mind, right?
Perfectly okay.
And Clark Chapin is saying salty is the key to increased bar beverage sales. Yes, that's the problem. I just don't eat the stuff. It's crap. I'm a carb avoider, as some of you know. Alan Long says, I love peanuts, just me. Julie, I've got a big thing of Planters peanuts that I keep up in the cracker cabinet here at the Beach Street Yacht Club, and I'm going to bring those in here on Friday's show, and we can have some peanuts. I mean, they're a big plastic thing of Planters peanuts. They're really good. Dry roasted. The best. Okay, that's it. Gets us to the finish line. And Julia, at the finish line, you like to say,
please like, follow, and share. All three.
Yeah, it helps with the algorithm. It helps spread when these shows, they're live and they get spread by YouTube or Facebook according not to just the subscriptions, the number of subscriptions, but the number of comments, the number of likes, the interaction with people. Right. And we're getting more and more.
Yes. And it shows. So thank you, guys.
And it just helps. It doesn't help us. We're not going to make any more money, maybe a touch, a few nickels and dimes here or there, but we're really interested in promoting our beloved sport as broadly and as widely as we can. Thank you to all of you who support us, whether by just showing up, whether by clicking on those things that Julia just mentioned. But those of you who join as patrons via patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated, so we can have a Studio B, so we can have some decent equipment that nobody does this, not because it's rocket science, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
We're in our 9th year.
God.
We're in our 9th year of doing this.
Incredible.
About to be our 10th year.
Wow.
Fog Machine says he's had a few Planters punches along the way. Gordon Smith is sending us a typography cartoon for next time. Rhode Island Rover, thank you, saying keep on sailing. The best way to make a small fortune broadcasting about sailing is to start out with a large one. You're right about that, Clark.
No question.
You're right about that. And thanks also to everybody who let us have their audio, video, and images for today's show. Julia?
Sir?
Any final thoughts?
No, not really. Not today.
Okay, that's a wrap. It's 3 minutes before 3 here in San Francisco. We've done this in under 2 hours. We shall do this again on Friday, same time and the same channels. We hope to see you then when we do our fabulous Road to the Governor's Cup triple header.
Yes, it'll be good.
5 skippers, 7 sailors. Hope you can join us then. In the meantime, sail fast, sail safe, and have fun. Ciao for now.